Ladies and gentlemen of LG, welcome, come one, come all, to, actually, you know what, guys? I don't think we ever named this thing. I'm going to do it right now on the fly. Welcome to CHL Garbage Time. I'm going to call it Garbage Time because my sons are garbage at this game. We are here to break down the first round of the CHL Playoffs. We're going to go through each series very quickly, very compactly. We're not going to waste your time. Joining me are a pair of gentlemen who, unlike me, are in the playoffs. I have the GM and the AGM of the Gulf Storm, everyone's favorite grandpa, Nutty Grandpa, and his sidekick, Tigers. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, man.
Hello. So like I said, we don't want to waste anyone's time. We're going to get right into the first matchup from the East. Kingston and the mighty North Bay. I'm going to hand it off to you, Tigers. Go ahead and do your thing.
All right, hey guys, it's the North Bay Battalion managed by Kadri and Stiffy Nope. They managed their team to a 39-5-1 record and the number one seed in the Eastern Conference Playoffs. The Frontonics were managed by Crystal Tang X58 and SN2 Puckstopper to a 18-22-5 record and the number 8 seed in the playoffs. The regular season matchups between the two teams were both won by North Bay. However, the Frontonics did manage to get the second game close. They dropped in the first, meeting 8-2 in week 2. The Frontonics made some trades to complete and to compete in their conference, and keeping the battalion to a much closer game in week 4, losing 3-2 in that meeting. The North Bay Battalions were led in scoring by GM Kadri, with the league scoring lead of 71 points, 34 goals, and 37 assists. AGM Stiffy Nope with 70 points, 34 goals, and 36 assists. Uncle Diddles, 53 points, 28 goals, and 25 assists. Their defense were stingy all season long, as helping out their goaltending, led by King Yankee and Scrammy, combining for 49 points, 7 goals, and 42 assists. They also combined for 3 shutouts and 9 one-goal games. The Italians also had the quite duo of netminders, and Devil Dog Tater played 29 games and went 25-4 with a 2.0 goal against average and save percentage of 84.2%. Bounce XP was another one of their strong goalies, going 7-1 with a 2.12 goal against average and 79 save percentage. The Frontonics were led by Edmonton Sniper with 45 points, 21 goals, 24 assists. GM Crystal Tang had 45 points, 26 goals, and 19 assists. Deeks for Dummies with 37 points, 16 goals, and 21 assists. Defensively, this is where their struggles came into play. This team didn't really have any stay-around D-men until the last 2 weeks of the season. They did trades to acquire some or picked them up off waivers. Their goaltending struggled this season until the reemergence of their attendee, Gracie Quebecki. In 11 games, he went 6-5 with a 4.39 goal against average and a save percentage of 72.9. And the last week helped his team clinch a spot in this season's playoffs by going 3-2. The last 10 games for these two teams are very way apart from one another. The battalion went 9-1, and the Frontonics went 4-5-1. What I see from this series might be a little one-sided, but the last time we had a team in the playoffs that dominated, they didn't fare so well. North Bay had the best power play percentage, 40.9, time of attack differential of 134 minutes and 18 seconds, average total time of attack 7 minutes 57 seconds, most shutouts 7, and the best plus-minus of 454, and the most goals differential of 129. I say this team could be compared to the Season 4 Kamloops Blazers. Let's hope they can go further than that team did. The Frontonics have their work cut out for them in this one, for sure. The Frontonics could win a game or two in this series, but they're going to have to be stout and mistake-free. I picked the Battalions in 4, but wouldn't be surprised if it would go 5. That's it on that one. Back to you guys.
All right, Tigers, thank you very much. We're going to jump right into the next matchup. Sunday Bellevue, handled by yours truly, Zach Polk. GM Everett 6-7, AGM OMG Viper. 20-21-4 with 44 points, put them 5th in the East. However, they didn't finish strong, going 3-6-1 in their last 10 games. Statistically, as a team, they were pretty average across the board. Their shot differential was -58. Their time of attack difference was -70 minutes. Struggled on the power play, and as a plus-minus, they were -62. However, they did not take a lot of penalties. They were the 12th fewest penalized team in the CHL, the 20-team CHL this season. DJ Bra led with 36 points and tied for the team with 21 goals, but keeping with the trend of the team was a minus 15. GM Everett, a defenseman, 21 points but a minus 18. AGM Viper, 21 goals but a much more manageable minus 4. What I saw from Sudbury this year, they got dealt a pretty rough hand early. They lost their first-round pick, chosen to the AHL after he only played 6 games with the club. And I tell you what, in those 6 games, he had 20 points. So that was a huge loss for them early on. They did trade at some point in the season for the Fallen Saint, who actually spent some time with me in the AHL. He's a very good player. He's very into it, dedicated, and wants to play his games. In his time with Sudbury, he had 13 goals in 7 games at forward. Goaltending-wise, neither Darcy Kemper or Pillow Pants were pretty impressive. They both had some high goals against average. So this team, again, pretty average across the board, but they were good enough to get into the playoffs. Waiting for them is Belleville, GM'd by Valar Mogalis. Love that name. AGM Shield of Jesus, not as in love with that name. 39-6 put them second in the East, and they finished strong at 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. This team really did it with some offense. They were 4th in time of attack difference at 53 minutes. They were a minus 10 in shot differential, though, so they were either very patient with the puck or they gave up a lot of fast breaks. Penalty kill, 78.1%, put them 3rd in the CHL, and they were a plus 165, which was also 3rd. Did take a lot of penalties. 377 minutes was the 4th most. As I said, these guys got it done offensively. 3 players over 50 points and another with 45. There are 3 guys at 50 points, put those top 7 in the CHL in scoring. God, 187, 56 points with 34 assists and a plus 19. All that led the team. GM Valar added another 25 goals with plus 14 and 29 assists. Butsy, 24 goals, and Maniac, I believe, I can't read my own writing, 53 points. So they were your 50-point guys. They look decent at D, but I think what's going to set this team apart is their goaltender. Reliable Moose with 16-5-2. His 16 wins put him 2nd in the CHL, and he was among the league leaders with a 2.52 goals against average, chipping in with 2 shutouts. These guys met twice in the regular season. The first one 7-5, the second one 7-2. Maniac was a factor in both games. 2 goals, 4 assists in the 7-5 win, playing with Valar and God. In the second game, the 7-2, he had 3 goals, 3 assists. Valar had 3 goals and assists, and God had a goal and 4 assists. Doesn't surprise me, in the 7-5 game, Moose didn't play. It was hard against Darcy. In the 7-2 game, it was reliable against Pillow. Look at this. Belleville's got the explosive offense. They're stronger in net. As long as they stay out of the box, even though Sudbury was 18th on the power play, 21.8, I see Belleville taking this pretty easily in 5 games. Nutty Grandpa, Mississauga, Petersburg, go.
All right, everybody. We got Mississauga, who was GM by Cullen 19, and the AGM was Mr. Williams 8. They went 20, 22, and 3 on the season, 43 points. Finished with 6th place in the East. They will be taking on the Petersburg Petes. GM on that is Akins 92, and the AGM is Eddie Fistpump. They went 13, 14, and 1 in the season, 61 points, good enough for 3rd in the East. They met twice during the season. Both games won by the Petes. Week 2 they met, and the final was 7-4. Week 4 they met, and the final was 3-0. So the Petes own the season series. Looking at the 2 teams, the strength for Mississauga seems to be on the time of attack differential. They finished 6th in the league with a 14.49 positive, and also very strong on shot differential, plus 60. So they were 5th in the league there. And their penalty kill, 9th in the league, so middle of the pack, 70.7. Petersboro, their strength, and they're very strong. Penalty kill, 80.5%, first in the league. Their shot differential, 216, also first in the league. And then face-off percentage, they are the beast at 53.8, second in the league. Only one team beat them. We're looking at weaknesses for both teams. Mississauga, unfortunately, the strength of Petersboro is the weakness of Mississauga. Their face-off percentage, 47.4%, 17th in the league. Also, their plus-minus is a minus 137, which, again, 17th in the league. So that doesn't bode well when you're talking about both puck control and even strength play. Peterboro's weaknesses, frankly, not many. Only thing I saw looking at everything was in one-goal games, which is sort of surprising that they're 11-8-1 in one-goal games. So sort of an odd mark for a team that's played pretty well. Over the last 10, both teams are sitting at 6-4, so they're coming in pretty equal. Players to watch in this series for Mississauga, obviously the GM Cullen, he's got 33 points, 11 goals. Presley, 14, 48 points, 23 goals. And Willis Smoka, 17 points, 13 goals. Defensively, their strong point is Bionic Duck. He had 12 points on the season, but he came in at a -8 on defense. And then for goalies, looks like they're going to go with Moto Midget and Mintz, 41. We have some experience with Moto Midget. He is a very good goalie if you can keep him off the macaroni and cheese during the game. He had a 3.32 goals against during the season, 78% save percentage. And Mintz comes in at 2.9 with a 77. As I said, Moto can be a very good goalie if you can keep the concentration there and off the food. Petersboro had some really good skaters. Cal Stomper came in the season 51 points, 25 goals. Nereds Beware 88, 49 points and 26 goals. And then the GM himself, or the Eddie Fistpump, with, or actually the AGM, with 48 points, 17 goals. So offensively, a very strong team. Defensively as well, they're led by D'Angelo, 97, who had 29 points on the season and a +16. It's pretty good. Their other defenseman, Assassination, comes in with 21 points and an even rating. Icehawk and Buddha appear to be the goalies for this series. Icehawk comes in at 2.52. Buddha comes in at 3.19, so very strong goaltending. Their save percentage is about 79 and 76. Looking at this series, about the only way Mississauga can win this series is they've got to keep the games close. They've got to keep them 1-2 goals going into the third period and hoping they can put some pressure on the Petersboro Petes. Maybe get them a little nervous there at the end of the game and pull out a couple of victories. Again, Mississauga very strong in one-goal games, 10-2-3. So their strength obviously lies in being able to keep the game close. Also, they've got to improve their even strength. You can't be in the playoffs with a -1, whatever theirs was, -100 and what was it? -152, I believe, or something like that. Very, very weak. You've got to improve on that if you're going to stay in the series at all. As far as Petersboro, for them to win the series is basically just do what they did in the regular season, play their game. 20 of their wins this season were by 2 goals or more, so they're comfortable with the lead. Mississauga they can't fall behind early. It's going to hurt them. My gut feeling says that Peterborough's talent's probably going to win this series. I'm even going to go as far to say in fact, this is my only prediction where I believe the Petes will sweep in 4. So that is what I have on that particular series.
All right, Nutty predicting the brooms coming out. Tigers, you're going to wrap up the East with us. Oshawa Niagara, go.
The Niagara Ice Dogs, managed by Snake, a great one, led their team to a 21-22-2 record in the 4th seed in the playoffs. Generals are managed by KTB Killer, who took over the season late as a GM, and Shady Z, which led his team to a 21-23-1 record for the 6th seed. The regular season was won by the Ice Dogs 2-0. In Week 2, they won by a score of 5-3. Week 4, they took the game 5-4. The Ice Dogs leaders this season and the ones who helped make the playoffs possible this season are Great One with 43 points, 20 goals, 23 assists. Jay McKay, 37 points, 13 goals, 24 assists. Toxic Nightmare, another prospect in this league, with 37 points, 22 goals, and 15 assists. Their defense was led by Matt, 40-29, with 23 points, 8 goals, 15 assists. Towards the last 2 weeks of the season, their GM went from center to goalie, and I believe he had success by both positions. But when your team is without a position, you got to make the sacrifices no one else will, and move around. Snake has the goalie helped his team by playing 12 games in net and holding a 9-3 record with a 3.25 goal against average and 75.5% save percentage. The Generals had some up and downs with the GMs and AGM from the start of the season. However, KTB Killa stepped up to take charge of the team and limit the damage. His team came together and stayed in the playoffs, led by ISL Lessons with 42 points, 15 goals, and 27 assists. Slicer Dangles, 35 points, 22 goals, 13 assists. Crazy Yeti Killer, 29 points, 10 goals, 19 assists. Their defense was led by Sergeant Skiz 99. Sorry if I said that wrong. With 15 points, 3 goals, 12 assists. In the team's last 10 games, the Generals had the better end of it, going 6-4, and the Ice Dogs went 5-5. My take on this series is the Generals can keep their league-leading penalties, 483 to Niagara's 272.4, under control. The Ice Dogs have a good PK, 52.2%, league lowest. This series could be a good one. The Ice Dogs have the 8th most goals in power play, 41, and the Generals have the 2nd most power play goals, 58. This series should go 6 or 7 games easily, but I'll take the Ice Dogs in 7 beyond their power play and the penalties Oshawa are bound to take. But overall, this series could go either way. Back to you, Rush.
All right, Tigers, thank you very much. Gamers, that is how we see the East. Take it to the message board. Call us geniuses. Call us crazy. I don't care. Because you know what? We're going to hop over to the West, and I get the uncomfortable breakdown of the Gulf Storm and the Sault Ste. Marie. I've got to talk about a team while 2 of their guys are sitting right here in the party with me. But let's get into it. The Gulf Storm, as I said earlier, GM'd by Nutty Grandpa, AGM Tigers, 6'5", 1981, blah, blah, bunch of numbers. Very uncreative. I'm not going to lie to you, this team, I thought they'd do a lot better. 15-25-5, put them 8th in the West at 35 points. They don't come in hot, 2-5-3. Down, they ranked pretty low across the board in a lot of categories. 18th in time of attack difference at -69, -50 in shot differential. 66.7 penalty kill put them 15th, -185 in total. One of their saving graces, they were 3rd in the CHL with a 52.3 face-off percentage. They did tie for the 5th most penalty minutes at 376. Guys, I'm going to watch in this series. I'm going to start with the AGM Tigers. Led the team with 35 points, but that only got him a 4-9-2 record. So there were some problems there. Beefskins led the team with 15 goals, but was a -19. Lynx, 13 goals in 13 games, and he was only a -6, much more manageable. One X factor I see for this team is going to be Glozier. They traded for him while he was on injured reserve, but it looks like he's back. Got a game or 2 in, I believe. So as long as chemistry isn't an issue, he could be a right hook you don't see coming. I also think that One Shot Lou is an AHL caliber defenseman, so he's going to have to carry that blue line. Same thing with their goaltender Iceman. He's got a lot of experience in this league, including some playing time in the NHL. So if they can clean up some things in front of him, let him do his thing. Maybe they can steal a game or 2 from him. Let's jump over to the Greyhounds. GM'd by Rowdy51, AGM'd by The Breather. They topped the West at 31-11-3 for 45 points, and they won 8 of their final 10 games. So it's always good to be coming in with that kind of record. Power play, 32.9% put them 6th, and 73.5% on the penalty kill put them 7th. So they're decent on special teams. Their face-off percentage is not as good as golf, so that's something that the Storm can try to take advantage of. The Greyhounds coming in at 51%, that put them 10th in the league. The 7th fewest penalized team at 2 minutes. This team had 4 20-goal scorers. Undershot Kid. He led with 30 goals, 28 assists, and 58 points. That put him 3rd in the CHL in points and goals. And of course, if you're going to GM, you got to produce. Rowdy did that. He was a plus 29, 22 assists. So he led by example, definitely. Sorry, my notes are a little goofy here. Noble Terrible T. This is an interesting guy for me. He actually started up in the AHL with me in Iowa. I'm not going to lie to you, he struggled there. He was a minus 12 in 10 AHL games. I believe we traded him. Then actually ended up getting waived back down to the CHL. And I'll tell you what, you know, you hate to see a guy come down, but it worked for him. He won all 5 of his games in the CHL. He had 2 goals, 6 assists, and was a plus 17 in 5 games. I looked at his numbers. He's a good CHL defenseman. Dementor is another solid defenseman they've got. 4 goals, 12 points, and plus 17. So, you know, they can get it done on the blue line. We've got 2 good goaltenders, which maybe not as important in the playoffs unless availability becomes an issue. But, you know, if that happens, he's got 2 guys he can go to. Notorious Fat, 14-4-3. 328 goals against average, 78.4 save percentage. Those are decent numbers, but they weren't as good as his teammate, Reflex Pro. 14-7-0, 2.70 goals against average, and an 82.3 save percentage. They both tied for 4th in the wins in CHL at 14 and had 2 shutouts. One thing that's going to make me nervous about the Greyhounds, and I didn't really get a chance to look into Rowdy's experience, but they've only got 15 guys on the roster right now. When the playoffs start, I believe that's got to be at 17 because scheduling gets very strict around this time. So he's going to have to get 2 guys on those rosters. I don't know if he's been carrying 15 all season and just kind of been going with his bench or not. But yeah, if you're listening, Rowdy, you've got to make sure that lineup's good to go because it gets very, very greasy come playoff time. All right, for the season breakdown, the Greyhounds played the Storm twice and won them both. Nutty, a forgettable performance, I believe, in a 9-0 rout. Rowdy led the way with 7 points for the Greyhounds, and then I think Tigers got a look at the Greyhounds in a 3-1 loss later in the season. Undershot led the way with a goal and 2 assists in that game. So the Greyhounds in both games. Look, I love Nutty, I love Tigers, but hey, the Greyhounds are stronger on D. They play good 2-way hockey. They've got deeper scoring. Like my other matchup, I got to go Greyhounds in 5. So that kicks off the West. We're going to go to Nutty with Saginaw and Owen Sound.
Yeah, first off, before we get that game, I do want to mention that 9-0 game. There was a goal that was incredibly shot from 3/4 ice that went over the goalie's shoulder. There's not much thing I can do on D when that happens.
All right.
All right, so we've got the Kitchener Rangers, GM by CK Wellfan 26, and AGM is CT Dangler. They went 24-18-3 on the season, 51 points. They finished 6th in the West. Plymouth Whalers, GM the 7th Defense, AGM Nasty Nate. They went 28-14-3 on the season, 59 points. Good enough for 3rd in the West. Season series, and I know I'm doing this out of order, so I apologize. I just realized I'm on the wrong game, but we're going to keep going. Season series, Kitchener won the first game week 2, 3-2, and then Plymouth took the return matchup 2-0 in that game. get into Kitchener's strengths. Very strong in the stats. Power play, they were 38.9%, finished second in the league. That's really strong. And they were strong on the penalty kill, 75.6%, good enough for fifth. They also dominated time of attack advantage. They had a 12.56 positive for a seventh place finish in the league. And then in one-goal games, this is pretty impressive, 12-3-3. So overall, very good season for them. For Plymouth, their strengths also on the power play, they finished with 32.7, seventh place. Their plus-minus was plus 25, good enough for eighth in the league. And then their face-off percentage, 52.2, good enough for fourth. In one-goal games, they were 13-6-3, so not bad. So we should have if these games can stay close, we should have some interesting games going on through the week. Weaknesses. Kitchener had a shot differential of minus 24, put them in the lower half of the league at 12th. And this is going to be a killer for them if they can't control it. Penalty minutes, 370. They finished 14th in the league. For the Whalers, their big issues are on attack, time of attack advantage, disadvantage. They were negative 20.39, 14th in the league. Their shot differential is bad, minus 75 for 18th in the league. And then they also have some penalty issues, 341 minutes, so that put them at 11th in the lower half of the league. Last 10, this is pretty interesting. Kitchener 6-4, so they're coming in semi-hot, but Plymouth is a blistering 9-0-1 in the last 10 games. So that should be interesting. Players to watch for Kitchener, I would say my black belt had 38 points, 16 goals during the season. Kodiak Killer, 30 points, 17 goals, and Round Time, 30 points, 16 goals. Where I think Kitchener's a little weak right now is on the D. I didn't really see a lot of players with decent stats. The one that did stick out, unfortunately, was a gentleman who played with us, Death Mall, finished 5 points in 7 games. We traded him late in the season because we had an issue with our center, and I didn't want to get rid of him, but he is actually a really good defender. In goal, Whalen and Dangler are the goaltenders. Whalen comes in with a 3.1 goals against and a 78 save percentage, and Dangler at 4.75 with a 74 save percentage. Those numbers could be trouble against a pretty strong Plymouth team. For Plymouth, the players to watch, Raging Raver, 40 points, 15 goals. Sampson, 84, 39 points, 22 goals. And 96 Blue, 96, 32 points, 15 goals. On defense, they're led by the 7th Defense, 21 points with a +4. And Resonator, 31 points and an even rating, so that's pretty strong. One concern for Plymouth, they have one goalie that I noticed right now with any game experience, which was M. Wiener, 37. Not bad experience, though. He's 6-0 in the season, at 283 goals against, and 82 save percentage. Their second goalie, he is a goalie, and I'm trying to find his name right now. It was, I can't find it, but he has goalie experience, but he has not played a single game at goal, so I don't know how that's going to work out. That could be the difference in the series, the goaltender play, that and the defense. So what I've got for how Kitchener has to win this is, statistically they're a better team than the Whalers. The two things that they have to do to win this series, first, they have to play solid defensively. Plymouth has, again, some good offensive players. If they aren't able to control them, the games are going to be over pretty quick. And then the second thing is goaltending. We mentioned that before. You're not going to win many games giving up 3-4 goals a game. You're going to have to control the puck a little bit. You're going to have to make sure your time on attack is more, that you're controlling the odd man rushes. And if they can do that, they stand a good chance. For Plymouth, almost messed that up. To win this series, they need to control the flow of the game. Right now, like I said, they have a time on attack disadvantage. They need to turn that around and control the puck a little bit. Kitchener has very strong special team units. So whatever power play opportunities or penalty kills they have, Plymouth needs to control that. For Plymouth to be successful, they're going to have to limit their penalties to, I say, 3 or less a game, where it could force this series to drag on longer than it probably should. I do believe that Plymouth has the better defense, so I'm going to give them that advantage. And it's really going to come down to Audacity was the other goaltender. It's going to become, is he game time ready? I know he's goaltended before, but he hasn't done much this season. How that's going to play out will really determine the season or the series. I've got Plymouth taking it in 6. Again, I just think it's the better overall defense, and their offense is just a shade better than Kitchener's. So that and the fact that they're on a pretty torrid pace of 9 out of the last 10, and they have 0 regulation losses in the last 10. So Plymouth in 6. Now I believe we go back to Tigers.
Yeah, Nutty, good stuff so far. Your cat seems to be ready.
Wait. Yeah, we did.
All right, we are halfway through the West, and yes, now you are correct. We're going to go back to Tigers for London Lake Erie. A very interesting team for us three because their current GM had to put up with us 3 knuckleheads last season, and we didn't drive him into retirement. So, Tigers, what do you got?
All right. Lake Erie Otters were managed by Nylander, who we all know was our GM last season. And he actually had Peguin as his AGM, who was our goalie last season. They both coached their team to 26-13-6 record and the number 2 seed in this year's Western Conference Playoffs. London Knights were managed by Tutu and Tendy Probs to a 20-20-4 record and the number 7 seed in this season's playoffs. The team split the 2 regular season meetings, which make this playoff series even more interesting. They will both split 1-1. London taking game 1 3-2 in week 1, and Lake Erie evening the series up in week 3 with a 4-3 win. Lake Erie was led by Nylander himself with 49 points, a lot less shots this season than last season, 22 goals and 27 assists. Vertanen 48 points, 21 goals, 27 assists, and a promising prospect in Chaos Theory with 33 points, 19 goals, and 14 assists. And their strong defensive jack of all games and Dogs 45, which they got from North Bay in a trade earlier in the season, which combined for 29 points, 5 goals, and 24 assists. We also combined for 5 shutout games and 8 one-goal games. Their goaltending was great all season long as well, with Peguin 22 games with a 13-9 record, 3.61 goal against average, and 75.5% save percentage, along with AK Buckmaster 16 games and 11-6 record, with a 2.29 goal against average, 82.4% save percentage, which are all good numbers by all means. London Knights were led by Tendy Probs with 37 points, 22 goals, 15 assists. Rags with 35 points, 17 goals, and 18 assists. And another promising prospect in Drew and X27 with 33 points, 19 goals, and 14 assists. And their defense is Gown Like a Boss and SU with 30 points, 2 goals, and 28 assists. Their goalie's Exclusive Johnny, 22 games played, is 9-13 with a 3.83 goal against average and 71.4% save percentage. And Zonda's R35, 8 games is 4-4 with a 2.49 goal against average and 79.6 save percentage. In the 2 teams' last 10 games, Lake Erie went 4-4-2 and London went 4-5-1. So they're both going in kind of mild. As what I see for this series is if London can keep the series from going to 1-goal games, they might be okay here. They went 6-10-4, which accounts for half of the team's losses this season. As for Lake Erie, they went 10-6 in 1-goal games. I believe the Knights can keep from getting in those situations. They have a chance of pulling off an upset here in this series. But can they make it to the next week? Here's my dual prediction for this series. If London can keep it away from 1-goal games, I'd pick London in 7, but if not, Lake Erie in 5. Back to you, Rush.
All right, Tigers, thank you very much. Nutty Grandpa, you will be the first of us to collect Social Security, but you're going to be the last one to break down the Western matchup, Kitchener and Plymouth. Go ahead.
No, it's reversed. Remember, I screwed up. It's Saginaw and Owen Sound. I missed that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that was me, not you. All right. Saginaw Spirit, GM by B Major and AGM by Vatanen. They went 26-15-4 on the season, 56 points, good enough for 5th in the West. Owen Sound Attack, or GM by Sport Freak 14. AGM is Glitch Goaling. They finished 27-15-3, 57 points, 4th in the West. Now, typically, when we do these predictions, we have a little something to go off of, like a regular season or a preseason matchup. But amazingly, in a 5-week season plus a 1-week preseason, these two teams never met, and yet they're in the same conference. So you go figure that one out. Somebody somewhere messed up on the scheduling. So we're going blind into this one. Saginaw strengths, obviously penalty kill. They were 76.2%, 4th in the league. A very strong plus-minus, +91, 6th in the league. And their 1-goal games, they finished with a 12-4-4 record. So overall, very good there. Owen Sound, plus-minus of +146, good enough for 4th in the league. They controlled their penalty minutes, 272, good enough for 4th in the league. Their face-offs were at 52%, good enough for 5th, and their power play percentage at 75.6, also good enough for 5th. So 4 of the categories in the top 5 is not bad at all. Should be an interesting matchup between the 5th place power play and the 4th place penalty kill. If Saginaw has weaknesses, it's in shot differential, so they're down 52, and that put them 16th in the league, so the bottom, really almost the bottom 4th of the league. Where is the bottom 4th? Face-off percentage, 47.5, which is not going to give you much control on offense. Puts them, again, lower 4th of the league, 16th. And their power play percentage, 27.8, 14th in the league. Owen Sound's weakness, unfortunately, I only saw one, and that's in 1-goal games where they were 8-7-3 on the season. So similar to the last series, Saginaw's got to keep these games close. In the last 10, Saginaw's gone 6-4, Owen Sound 5-3-2. In this series, players to watch for Saginaw, you've got Crazy 8, 32 points, 12 goals on the season. Mantha 39, who we had for a brief period of time on the G Storm, 33 points, 25 goals. And defensively, they've got Smoking Aces at 6 points, +6, and Synergy with an incredible 29 points and a +7 rating. As far as goalies, I'm going to be honest, I have no clue who they're going to put in the goaltender. They haven't got any listed right now. They have about 18, I believe, on their roster, all of them on the TC, so it's going to be interesting to see who they pull up for these games. As far as Owen Sound, past Ziducci, had 8 games and 28 points, so he's coming in at almost about a 4-point-a-game clip. Glitch Goaling, impressive 47.24 goals. And Metal Ghost, it's getting late in the evening, 40 points, 22 goals. On defense, they've got Nyrock 1979 with 14 points and a +17 rating. And XL Wabbit XL 7 points, +12. Where the strength of this team may lie is actually in the goaltending. They've got Slippery in net and High and Bad 22. Slippery has a 2.8 goals against average, 79.8 save percentage, and High and Bad has a 2.67 goals against with a 79.5 save percentage. So you could put either one of these guys in. They seem to be pretty consistent. For Saginaw to win, first and foremost is goalie play. If they don't have a good goalie in there, this series won't go 4 games, even though it has to. It'll actually end in 3. Right now, I'm not even sure who their goalie is, as I said. Secondly, they must improve on their even strength play. -52 on the season is not going to cut it in the playoffs, especially when you're going against a dominant offensive team with a +146. Even strength goals will kill you. They'll need to control the puck, obviously, to do some of this. And they've got to keep the games close and use the strength in 1-goal games. I think if they can keep the games close and put some pressure on Owen Sound. Maybe they'll eke out a win or two and maybe even push the series to 7, but they've got to keep every game close. As for Owen Sound, you got to play to your strengths. Maintain puck control, take advantage when you get the man advantages. Even though Saginaw has a strong penalty kill, I can't see Owen Sound not getting some power play goals if they're given the opportunity. That and the other thing I think with Saginaw is if Owen Sound can get out to the early lead and sort of put their boot on the throat of Saginaw and choke them out, they'll make this a pretty easy series. I've got Owen Sound in 5. Again, I think it could stretch to 6 if Saginaw can contain and make the games close. But if they can't, Owen Sound in 5. So that's what I've got for that series.
All right, well, there you have it. Hey, you know what? Not bad for a couple of rookies. I know the feline population. We've officially doubled our cat population during the show. So congratulations to that.
I can bring more to the party.
All right, Nutty and Tigers. Hey, I'm a guy who will be watching the playoffs from his mom. Best of luck in the first round. I hope you prove me wrong and pull off the upset. Before we go, and I believe our plan is to be back next week with sort of a first round recap and look at the next round. But let's end it off with some finals predictions. Nutty Grandpa.
All right, so I was writing on my pad the whole time y'all were talking, trying to figure out who was going to make it to the finals. And in the East, I'm having the Petes come out of the East, actually beating Belleville, who takes down North Bay. So the Petes make it to the finals. And in the West, I've got actually Plymouth coming out. And I've got Plymouth beating Erie in the semifinals. So I've got Plymouth versus the Petes, Peterborough Petes in the finals.
All right, Tigers, what's your prediction, buddy?
Well, I hope North Bay proves me wrong and doesn't pull a Cam Loops from season 4. I think they have the talent and the players to go all the way. It's just coming down to if they can. And I would say they would be beating the Petes to get there. Out of the West, man, that's a tough one. I would say Plymouth, as long as they can keep everything together. If they fall apart, then maybe Erie. But right now, I'm just saying Plymouth right now. It's going to be Plymouth and North Bay. Who you got, Rush?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I was on CHL Nation a couple Fridays ago. I went with an all CHL media final, Snakes Niagara Ice Dogs against B Mage's Saginaw. Stick with that, and I'm going to pull for those guys hard. Once you guys are eliminated in the first round, of course, you guys will have my support for as long as you manage to stick around.
I don't know what to say to that, Rush. I don't know what to say to that. Somehow we'll have his support as long as we stick around.
Okay. I'll try to have 3 cats next week.
All right, sounds good. Hey, by the time this goes live, we will be less than 24 hours away from kicking off this thing. You guys ready?
Yeah, about as ready as we're going to be at this point. Waiting for everybody to sign up still since sign-ups came out late.
Yeah, sign-ups would help, guys.
All right, well then, that is our show. Like I said, we will see you next week, I believe. And
yes.
To all the teams in the playoffs, best of luck to you, and to all those like me who did not make the playoffs. NHL 16 is right around the corner, so we have that to look forward to.
Hey, Rush, even if you were in the playoffs, you still can win a playoff game.
I am 0-4 lifetime in the playoffs, 0-2 in the CHL, and 0-2 in the AHL, so thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I had to.
Remember who brought it up.
All right. Till next time, this is Rushpak, Nutty Grandpa, and Tigers saying see ya.